Just listen to that. That's Robert Mazur, a U.S. federal agent. And yeah, those are the actual life or death stakes he was dealing with for 2 straight years, living deep inside the financial heart of one of the most dangerous drug cartels on the planet. So, a fake wedding and a Rolls-Royce to take down a cartel's bank? I mean, how does that even work? Well, you're about to find out. This is the incredible story of one of the most sophisticated undercover operations ever, using all the trappings of insane wealth and a frankly brilliant and audacious sting to completely dismantle a criminal empire. See, this wasn't your typical undercover gig. For 2 years, Robert Mazur wasn't pretending to be some street-level drug dealer. No, his mission was way bigger. It was all about following the money. And to do that, he had to become this high-flying, corrupt businessman, a player so big, so utterly convincing that the cartel's top money guys would literally hand over their millions. He had to become someone else entirely. He had to become Robert Masella. So let's talk about that. Part 1, becoming Robert Masella. How do you build the perfect cover? I mean, really, how do you just create a whole new person from scratch? Well, the team behind Operation Sea Chase figured it out, and the key was a crazy mix of authenticity and just unimaginable luxury. Okay, so the official mission was called Operation Sea Chase, and its goal was crystal clear. They weren't just going after the muscle. They were targeting the brains of the meddling cartel. The biggest money launderers, the bankers, the businessmen, basically the guys who made the entire illegal enterprise actually work. And when I say luxury, I mean, look at this. The Robert Musella lifestyle was insane. He drove a Rolls-Royce, a Mercedes, a Jaguar. He flew in a private jet. But it was more than that. He supposedly owned a jewelry chain with 30 locations, ran his own investment company, and even had a seat on the New York Stock Exchange. This wasn't just for show, you know. All of this provided the perfect, legitimate-looking excuse for handling huge, and I mean huge, amounts of cash. It made the illegal look totally plausible. But here's the secret sauce to the whole thing. Mazur said, "I was always just me. I didn't fake accents, fake anything. Robert Masella was from Staten Island. I'm from Staten Island." And that's the core of it, right? The more truth you build into the lie, the harder it is for anyone to poke holes in it. Masella wasn't some total fabrication. He was just an extension of Mazur. That authenticity, that was his best defense. It was his shield. Okay, so he's got the cover down. Now for the hard part. To catch these guys, Musella had to become one of them. So let's dive into the black money market and see exactly how this dirty money moves around the globe. So what exactly is the black money market? Think of it like this. It's a huge, totally informal banking system. You've got drug traffickers sitting on mountains of dirty U.S. cash they can't spend. Then you have legitimate business owners in other countries who need U.S. dollars to import goods. A money launderer, like our guy Musella, is the middleman. He swaps the dirty cash for clean foreign currency, connects the two sides, takes a nice cut, and poof, the money is clean. But look, a simple swap is way too easy to trace. That's amateur hour. To really fool the feds, you need something called layering, and it's basically the art of creating a financial maze. The goal is to make the money trail so complex, so convoluted, that no one on Earth can find their way back to the start. Here's a pretty typical example of how it works. Step 1. The drug cash gets deposited in a bank in, say, Luxembourg. Step 2. That money is then used as collateral to get a brand new, clean loan from a bank in Paris. Step 3. Those loan funds get wired to a shell corporation in Gibraltar, and finally, that now clean loan money is moved to the cartel's accounts in Panama. See the genius of it? Each step is a wall for an investigator. To trace it, you'd have to break through bank secrecy laws in 4 different countries. It's designed to be literally impossible. So for 2 whole years, Mazur is walking this insane tightrope. But in the world of the Medellin cartel, you know that one tiny slip-up isn't just bad, it's fatal. And trust me, a slip-up was coming. This is where it gets really intense. So imagine this. A cartel member actually warns him. He says, "Make sure your people look on the street for gringos. That's where their guns are hidden. Those are los feos, the ugly ones." Los feos, the ugly ones, was the cartel's own slang for federal agents. And they knew exactly what they looked like. They had a profile. And then, in a moment of just unbelievable carelessness, what happens? The U.S. surveillance team assigned to protect Mazur fits that description of Los Feos perfectly. I mean, to a T. They were walking, talking red flags. And of course, just like that, The cartel's own surveillance team spots them. Instantly, the entire house of cards that Mazur had spent 2 years building, it just started to crumble. Everything was about to collapse. And then came the phone call, the absolute nightmare scenario. On the line, a screaming voice, yelling that Mosella had to be a DEA undercover agent. All deals from here on were off. 2 years of work, gone. The whole operation wasn't just in trouble, it was dead in the water. Or at least it seemed that way. All right, so the operation is completely falling apart. What do? Well, the team had to pull a rabbit out of a hat. They came up with one last desperate and honestly completely brilliant move to save everything. This is the wedding sting. So here's the massive problem they were facing. How in the world do you arrest 85 untouchable international criminals and bankers, guys who will never gather in the same place at the same time? They're spread all over the globe. It's impossible. You can't just go arrest them, so you have to trick them. You have to lure them in. And the answer? It was as crazy as it was brilliant. You throw a fake wedding for your undercover agent, Bob Musella. Think about it. It's audacious, it's personal, it's the perfect trap. By this point, Musella was so trusted, so well-liked, that his criminal friends wouldn't dream of missing his wedding. So the invitations go out, and these guys, these high-level targets, they fly in from all over the world for the big day. Then, the night before the wedding, they all get an invite to a surprise bachelor party. The trap is set, the final act is officially in motion. But the real surprise wasn't the party. It was the arrest team waiting for them. The limos pulled up, the doors opened, and instead of champagne and music, they were met with federal agents. The trap was sprung. And the results of Operation Sea Chase were just staggering. We're talking about 85 individuals arrested, roughly $600 million in fines and forfeitures, 3,000 pounds of cocaine seized. But the real bombshell? The operation led to the complete implosion of BCCI, which was the 7th largest private bank in the world. This wasn't just a win, it was a kill shot. It proved for the very first time that nobody, not even a massive, powerful international bank, was untouchable. So the arrests are made, the headlines fade away, but for Robert Mazar, the man at the center of it all, the story was far from over. Now came the aftermath, and with it, a personal reflection on the emotional and moral weight of everything he'd just done. And this quote from him really hits home. He said, "I had done the same things that the bankers had done, and I was getting awards, and they were about to go to jail for a long time." I mean, can you imagine that? It's this surreal paradox of his job. He wasn't celebrating. He was reflecting on the fact that he used the same dirty tactics as the criminals, but he was a hero, and they were going to prison. It really gets you thinking. And that really brings us to the big, sobering question at the end of all this. Operation Sea Chase was, without a doubt, a huge victory. But here's the thing. Experts estimate that something like $400 billion in illegal drug money is generated every single year. So when you're faced with a river of dirty money that massive, it makes you wonder, is this a war we can ever truly win? Can even the most brilliant stings and the bravest agents ever really be enough to stop a flood of that size?